Hi, welcome to the small shed and welcome to my last session supervising out many sheds in Stoke Prior. See you in a minute. Now it's been over 6 years since I first set foot into the industrial unit in Stoke Prior that is men in sheds, and today, as far as I'm concerned, it's the end of a bit of an era on that, because our lease expires at the beginning of December and we're actually moving, hopefully this weekend, into a new unit up on a farm further round Bromsgrove. So we'll be back in a week or two at the new farm and perhaps have a look around then and see what we've now got as a new facility, if you like, clean slate to start with. But I just thought I'd go and have a last look around before all the other old guys arrived this morning, and have a quick look around the unit and see what state it's in now, because I think they've been carefully taking bits out over the last couple of weeks. I did a bit of cleaning down last week. It's probably the cleanest it's ever been actually, but we're going to see what sort of a mess there is in the unit itself. So although it looks a little bit chaotic still, first impressions are that they've got quite a lot of work done in the week since, or the 4 or 5 days since I was last here. A lot of the materials have been boxed up, a lot of the machines have been stacked up in the corner, the whole of the lathe area has been taken down. I spent last Monday cleaning all the walls down and vacuuming a lot of the high level areas. You can see at the very end I can't quite do that bit because of the bench, the pillar drill and the mitre saw, and you can see the difference in the colour of the skirting that's at the top of the wall. But it's although it looks chaotic, there is quite a lot done, so hopefully we can have a good day session today, get a bit more tidied up, a bit more packed up, and maybe make a start on all of this electrical fittings around the walls that need to be taken down. I'm taking some of the signage down as well so that we can move it up to the new shed. And so here we are after a morning's work really. The electricians come in and we've taken all of the contactor box, all of our power that we put in that's got the kill switches, they've all come off the walls, starting to look a little bit more like an empty unit. Shed moving day, we've brought it forward a day because there is a storm Boris or something due tomorrow, and we thought it would be better to get as much done as we could while the weather was at least relatively calm and straightforward and dry. We've got one or two advantages in doing that. First and foremost is that everybody's at work on a Friday, apart from us, which means that we've got the facility to borrow next door's forklift to help load stuff at one end, get the heavy stuff, the bandsaw, planer, the benches, get them onto trailers and into vans with mechanical assistance. And at the other end at the farm there's also a forklift type machine up there, a load all or something, I'm not sure what. So if we can get some of the heavy stuff moved today, it'll at least make life a lot easier. So we'll get over to the shed first thing now and see how we get on, see if we can get some of this stuff out of the way and make a bit of a dent in it. So I arrived, the idea was that we'd work 10 till 2. I turned up at about 9:45, and in fact everybody else was there and had been for probably, I don't know, half, 3/4 of an hour maybe by the look of it. There were trailers, vans already loaded, and we were ready to start and move some of the really big heavy stuff with the guy next door and his forklift truck. And you can see even by this stage that the unit is pretty much being cleared out. We've had a couple of trailer loads by this time and the bandsaw ready to go into the van. As it turned out, although we measured it, we'd forgotten it was on a pallet, so we had to actually bring the pallet up to the back bumper level of the van and then slide the bandsaw in, because we had about an inch of clearance to get it in. And then on up to the farm to have a look at the new premises. Looks very much like the Railway Club in terms of its situation and build quality. It's sleeper walls with asbestos or cement sheet above it, but there's a huge area of which we've got a small area here, which is about the equivalent area of what we had before. It's just that it's square instead of long, so we've got a fair bit of work to do on that. And then alongside it there's a bay which is a storage area which we can also use, and we'll probably be putting a dust-free machine room or something in that area, because we're in somebody else's unit, it's their environment, we don't want to get it like we did our shed, covered in sawdust, because, you know, sooner or later they would get somewhat upset by it, I think. And you can see that by mid-morning we'd already pretty much half filled that area up. Wow, that has been pretty amazing first day really. By 3 o'clock, which is, we didn't want to overstretch everybody, so we said we were going to work, you know, 10 till 3, half 9 till 3. By 3 o'clock we got everything moved, with the exception of probably one van load to do tomorrow, and even that isn't critical, because we made sure that anything that's got to go in that van tomorrow could go in a car or several cars during the week after. So even if the storm tomorrow is catastrophic, we really haven't got a problem anymore. We are essentially moved, and even if it's bad tomorrow, we've got the advantage that because the unit is now pretty much empty at our end, and at the farm there is plenty of room, so we can drive a van into the unit and load it, drive the van into the unit at the other end and unload it, and it's all in the dry. So it's just exceeded anything I could possibly have expected that would have been achieved, if you like. Hats off to everybody. It was a typical example of how the shed somehow exists and functions with a load of old codgers that seemingly don't know what the hell they're doing half the time. But it just all came together. We got vans, trailers just appear out of nowhere miraculously. Everybody just knuckles down and gets on with it. Bring mates with them who are probably more able-bodied than some of us, and just knuckle down and get stuck in. And as I say, everything has gone. We're nearly loaded out at the farm. We've probably made a problem for ourselves by just dumping it all in one area that we thought was like a storage area. But I think we've buried everything that we need. You know, tools and vacuum cleaners and things are probably buried right at the front of that heap. There wasn't a great deal of finesse in the way we moved it, but it's gone, and that's the important thing at the moment. We can now pull back, take a little bit of time to think about what we're going to do with the new unit, how it's going to function. It's got its advantages, it's got its disadvantages. It's not quite as slick in terms of an industrial unit that's got an absolutely flat, level, smooth floor. We're in a barn which has got a rough concrete floor. But on the other hand, we've got a biomass plant attached to it, which is blowing so much warm air in that even with the big roller door open, it was like an oven in there. So all the problems we used to get in the winter with having 4 or 5 heaters on and not really doing a lot have now gone out the window, and the only cost to us will be just the electric for pushing the warm air out from the radiators. There's some big fan units attached to the outlets, if you like, so we'll have to pay for something for that, but it's going to be an awful lot more cost effective from that point of view. So tomorrow we'll go back, just do the last load, go up and probably have a very quick scout around what we've got, show you very briefly what we've got there. That will no doubt come out over the next few weeks as we start and get stuck into it. But really I'm just going to go home and have a bath now, have a wash, shower, whatever, get all the muck and grime off. But it's just amazing, it really is. We've got everything gone and all set fair for tomorrow. So the Saturday morning, very little to clear out. We've got one van that we'd managed to borrow, and that was really all we needed. Load of timber to go, some of which was being picked up by somebody else who wanted it for a log burner. And within an hour or so, we got the place pretty much clear and tidy, ready to pack up, lock the doors and leave it behind. The upstairs mezzanine area that I spent a bit of time during COVID making is all cleared, and we're no doubt going to have to build a similar sort of thing at the new premises. Last van out about, I don't know, 11:15, something like that. Finished for the day. And the only thing remaining is the kettle. Right, well that's it. The end of an era, and hopefully the start of a new one. We're out of the shed, we've cleared all the stuff away pretty much now. As I say, I'll be in during the week next week just to do final cleaning with some of the gang, and get the last bits and pieces of scrap to tip, but we are out of the unit, and that's the important thing, with a couple of weeks to spare, which was something we didn't think would be happening at one stage. So, as I said earlier, it just shows what can happen when a load of old codgers get their heads together and get down to it. It's been a typical example of how well mending sheds works, really, in that there's certainly not, to my knowledge, been the slightest hint of problem, no arguments, no hissy fits from anybody. Everybody just got stuck in and got on with it, and by 11 o'clock on the Saturday, which was supposed to be roughly when we were starting to do the move, we've got the whole thing done. So I hope the video was of interest. I'll be catching up in the future with the new shed as to what we're doing, and probably bringing you up to date with that in the future. But until then, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again soon. Bye.